How are you? I hope all are good. Today let me read SST chapter number 2, Kings and Kingdom. Okay, let's begin. राजा और उनके राज्य. Political development in India and outline 700 to 1200 CE. ठीक है, पॉलिटिकल यानी कि राजनीति जो विकास हुआ हमारे भारत में उसकी एक आउटलाइन यहाँ पे है. किंग हर्षवर्धन डेथ इन 1647 was followed by a gradual breakup of his vast kingdom. ठीक है, जब राजा हर्षवर्धन की मृत्यु हुई ये उस समय की बात है. Between 800 and 1200 CE, a number of smaller kingdoms emerged across the subcontinent. These kingdoms brought about numerous changes in the country's social, economical, political, and cultural life. Tripartite struggle for Kannauj. Kannauj was the epic center of all political development. है ना, कन्नौज जो है एक मतलब एपिक सेंटर था सारे विकास का, जो राजनीतिक विकास जहाँ से शुरू हुआ. इन नॉर्थ इंडिया ड्यूरिंग द लॉन्ग रीगन ऑफ किंग हर्षवर्धन, इट्स लोकेशन नियर रिवर गंगा हेल्प फोस्टर ट्रेड एंड एग्रीकल्चर इन दिस रीगन. Even after King Harshvardhan's death, Kannauj continued to remain important for different ruling dynasties, and its positions was considered to be immensely beneficial. Okay, so this resulted in a series of battles between the Gujara Pratiharas, Rashtrakutas, and Palash for control over the central Ganges Valley in general, Kannauj in particular. Okay, so this fight, which was essentially aimed at securing the supreme position in the political scene of North and Central India, is known as Tripartite struggle, since it mainly involved three parties. तो कौन-कौन सी parties थी वो? The three powers in the tripartite struggle. The three main powers that involved in the tripartite struggle were the Gurjar Pratihar dynasty, was founded by Hari Chandra during the 6th century. Nagbhat I was the first important ruler of this dynasty, and his successors brought the rule of Gujarat and southwestern Rajasthan under their control. The Pratihara power reached its zenith under Bhoj I, 836 to 885 CE. In the tripartite struggle, Gujara Pratihara used Western India as a base. Okay, the Rashtrakutas, who was originally subordinates of the Chalukyas, overthrew their master in 753 CE and established as independent dynasty under their chief, okay, Dati Durga. The term Rashtrakud means a design officer in charge of a territorial division called Rashtra. Initially, they expanded their kingdom towards the south and the southwest. The Pala dynasty was founded by Gopala in the 8th century. He started as a ruler of a tiny principality called Pundrabardhana near Bogra in present-day Bangladesh. Okay. Subsequently, he included Vanga in his kingdom and gradually extended his control over the whole of Bengal. Pala ruler Devpala 810-850 reasserted his authority in the east and the northern Deccan. So after the death of Devapala, Palan power started declining. Thought it revived during the reign of Mahipala 988-138 CE. Its stronghold now was confined only to Bihar. Outcomes of the tripartite struggle. The conflict between kingdoms weakened their resources. At the end of the 9th century, the Pala kingdom declined with its subordinate in Kamarupa, modern Assam, and Utkala, modern Odisha. So, asserting their independence. Eventually, they were replaced by the Sena rulers. The last Sena ruler, Lakshman Sen, was defeated by the commander of the Delhi Sultanate, Muhammad Bakhtiar Khilji. Okay, in 1200 CE. After the Sena dynasty, the Deva dynasty came to power in eastern Bengal. Kingdoms of North India. North India के राज्य, the Gujara and Pratihara kingdom also declined soon afterwards. Its subordinates, Chauhans, Chamanas, Chandelas, Guilas, and Kalakuris, Parmaras, and Solanki asserted their independence. So the Pratihara kingdom thus became weak, and it enabled Mahmud Ghazni, an Afghan king, to plunder its western Indian territories mercilessly. Eventually, the lack of unity and constant rivalry within them gave the Turks an opportunity to invade India and lay the foundation of Delhi Sultanate. The Rashtrakuta kingdom met the same fate. One line of the Chalukyas, who were their subordinates, founded what come to be called the late Chalukya dynasty. This gave the final death blow to the declining Rashtrakuta kingdom. Administration. The new kingdoms were divided into provinces called Bhuktis, which were divided further into Vaishyas. The governor was in charge of the Bhuktis, and Vishapati looked after Vishyas. So the village was the smallest administrative division under the village headmen, supported by village committees. The kings of the newly emerged kingdoms adopted high-sounding titles such as Maharajadiraj and Tribhuvan. The king was advised by the council of ministers, including the foreign minister, who's Sandhi Vigrahika, storehouse in charge, Bhanda Garika, fort in charge, Kotapal, commander of army, Mahasenapati, and royal priest Rajpurohit. So the king maintained his own army and also depended upon his feudatories for troops and armaments at the time of. King gave grants of land to many of his lesser kings or feudal lords instead of salaries. Social life. The Rajput were a part of the Kshatriya, yani ki warrior, Yodha class. Most of the Rajput ruling classes claim their lineage from either Agni, sun or moon. They enjoyed high status in society. A new class of clerical staff emerged known as the Kayasthas. The position of women declined during the period. Many evil practices such as polygamy, sati, child marriage, etc. prevailed. Economy. Agriculture was the primary occupation and land revenue formed the most important part of the state treasury. Both internal as well as external trade took place during this time. Shernis or trade guilds carried on trading activities. Trade prevailed with Southeast Asia, China, Mediterranean, and Western world. India exported textiles, spices, precious stones, and imported horses and precious metals. The Rajput are well known for their bravery, honor, and prestige in Indian history. है ना? उनके जो है उनकी ऑनर से, उनके जो है साहस से जाना जाता है भारतीय इतिहास से ही उन्हें राजपूत को. Some of the famous Rajput dynasty that ruled during this period were the Gadwalas of Kannauj, Chauhans of Ajmer, Parmars of Malwa, Tomars of Delhi, Chandelas of Khajuraho, Kalachuris of Tripuri, and Chalukya of Gujarat. Then the Chamanas or Chauhan. Chamanas भी बोलते हैं उनको, चौहान भी बोलते हैं. The Chamanas were later known as the Chauhans. They ruled over the region around Delhi and Ajmer. है ना, इन्होंने शासन किया कहाँ पे? दिल्ली और अजमेर में. Prithviraj Chauhan III was the greatest ruler of this dynasty. He ascended the throne of Ajmer at the age of 14 and made many conquests. He conquered many small states of Rajasthan and Bundelkhand. His achievements and exploits have been described by his poet Chandrabardai in his famous book Prithviraj Raso. है ना, चंद्रबरदाई ने पृथ्वीराज रासो बुक लिखी थी, तो इसकी जितनी भी हिस्ट्री है सब उसके बारे में इस बुक में लिखा हुआ है. In 1191, he defeated an Afghan ruler Sultan Muhammad Ghori in the first battle of Tarain. But in the second battle of Tarain in AD 1192, he lost to Muhammad Ghori. We have already mentioned that there were many famous Rajput kingdoms during this period. They were always fighting with each other for supremacy. These battles made them weak. That is why they could neither defend themselves individually nor unit against the Turkish invasion. Mahmud of Ghazni. Okay, so Mahmud of Ghazni was a very ambitious ruler from Ghaznavid dynasty. Mahmud extended his control over parts of Central Asia, Iran, and northwestern part of the Indian subcontinent. He wanted to make Ghazni, now in Afghanistan, the most powerful kingdom. For this, he needed a large army and wealth. His first invasion was undertaken to get hold of the wealth in India. It was not difficult for Mahmud to invade India because the early medieval period is known for disunity among the Indian rulers. Mahmud took advantage of this lack of unity. तो क्या था हमारे इंडिया में जो किंग थे उनमें आपस में डिसयूनिटी थी, मतलब यूनिटी नहीं थी, इसीलिए तो मुगलों ने भी आके हम पे इतना अधिकार जमाया, क्योंकि यूनिटी कहते हैं ना कि जो है फूट डालो राज करो, तो यही जो वो था अब उन्होंने अपनाया था अंग्रेजों ने, यही नीति अंग्रेजों ने अपनाई थी और यही मुगलों ने अपनाई थी, क्योंकि आगे राजाओं में यूनिटी नहीं थी, इसलिए इन्होंने अपने पैर पसारे यहाँ पे और इतने साल इन्होंने राज किया। वरना अगर सारे राजाओं में यूनिटी हो जाती तो ये मुगल जो है कुछ नहीं कर पाते। महमूद रेडेड इंडिया 17 times between 1000 and 125 CE. The plunder at the Somnath temple in Kathiawar was the most notorious invasion. This grand temple was demolished and its wealth was carried back to Ghazni. इसको demolish कर दिया, उसकी जो जितनी भी संपत्ति थी किसके पास पहुंची? गजनी के। Much of the wealth from India was used to construct the capital city of Ghazni. Mahmud wanted to know about the people living in the areas he invaded and conquered, and for this Mahmud patronized a scholar named Al-Biruni to write an account of the Indian subcontinent. This Arabic work called Kitabul Hind remains an important source of information for the historians. Muhammad Ghori. Muhammad Ghori was another invader. He was from Gord, a small kingdom in present-day Afghanistan. He was a vassal of Muhammad of Ghazni. However, with Mahmud's death, his dynasty declined and Muhammad took advantage of this situation, okay, and made Gord independent. He became very powerful after taking control over Ghazni's territories. He then conquered Multan, Peshawar and Lahore. This brought him into conflict with Prithviraj Chauhan of Delhi, which resulted in two battles of Tarain in 1191 CE and 1192. Respectively, Muhammad Ghori defeated Prithviraj Chauhan in the second battle of Tarain and established the beginning of Muslim rule in India. Now, case study: the Cholas. Rajaraj Chola. The Cholas established a powerful empire in South India, and that is why they are known as the Imperial Cholas. They ruled in South India for nearly 4 centuries. Tanjore, now called Tanjore, was their capital. Okay, Vidyalaya 1846 to 1871 was the first Chola ruler. He ruled the region north of river Kaveri. Okay, Prantaka I conquered Madurai from the Pandyas. He was, however, defeated by the Rashtrakuta king Krishna III in the Battle of Takolam in 1949 CE. Rajaraja Chola and Rajendra Chola made the Cholas the greatest power of South India. Rajaraj Chola in 1985 to 1015. Rajaraj Chola, also called Rajaraj I, was a brilliant commander. He defeated the Pandyas and the Cheras. He built a strong navy to control trade along the coastal areas. The Chola fleet captured parts of Ceylon, Sri Lanka and the Maldives island. Okay, Rajendra Chol. Rajendra Chol was Rajaraja's son. He uska beta tha. He succeeded his father to the throne. Rajendra Chol made the empire even more powerful. His army defeated the Cheras, the Chalukyas and marched as far known as modern day West Bengal, where he defeated the Palash. After this victory, Rajendra Chol called himself, Gangai Konda Chola, which means one who conquered places up to the river Ganga. He also built new capital near Tanjore and called it Gangai Konda Kolhapuram. The Cholas' administration. The Chola administration was well organized. The king was the head and was assisted by a minister, and they had a very efficient armed force consisting of cavalry, infantry, elephants, and a good navy. So the empire was divided into mandalams and valandas, provinces and districts consisting of many villages. The administration was carried out by village assemblies called Yuva Sabha and Nagaram. Yuva was the village assembly, Sabha was the assembly of learned people, and Nagaram consisted of merchants, traders, and artisans. This is evident to show that they had a good local self-government. The Attermerer inscriptions give details of the Chola administration. Temple under Chols. Temples became the center of life during the Chola Regan. They were not only places of worship but also a center of economic, political, and cultural activities. The chief features of a Chola temple is the Vimana of the tower. The Brideshwara temple, built by Rajaraj Chola, comprises 30 stories and it's crowded by a single block of granite. Okay, so the all topics of this chapter are coming here, and all topics are covered in this chapter here. I hope you all are very well understand this chapter. Thank you and have a nice day.